Welcome to day 2 of Delphine Montclaire's vlog, all about her time at Albion School of Sorcery. This was my first day of classes and a lot of things have occurred, so please bear in mind that I do have a lot to explain. If you have some kind of question or concern, you can leave a message below if you do happen to see this, and I will respond to you as well as I can. When we first checked into school, we were given a class schedule, and so it has my name on it right there. How lovely. It says that at Friday at 9 a.m. I had universal bonding with Professor Copernicus, who is a satyr. And it was basically like a movement and body awareness class. And it was meant to make us all more aware of our bodies and how magic can be manipulated through the different parts of us, through our chakra gate. We had breakfast, and right after that, we went to our history of magic class. Now, I'm very well learned in the history of the beautiful Anwen and everything that built into making the Albion School of Sorcery. But it's always good for a refresher. It was a great class, and I was able to pass a note to a few friends since I'm working on something. Also, I wanted to see if Rory was terrified of me or not, for she seems so uncomfortable whenever we're talking, so that was something concerning because I am trying to make lots of friends. The mission that the dear headmaster has put me on. Now, this is something that cannot be spoken outside of these walls. The headmaster has asked me to acquire individuals that might be willing to look into our cause, the cause of the Black Fox. The Black Fox is a figure within Anwen lore that basically he was one of the original procurers of magic. And bringing the Black Fox's way of thinking would restore balance to the way that magic is distributed between all beings. And this is something that I am very passionate about. So when I was given this assignment, I was extremely excited. I've talked to quite a few different people, one being Lily, who has such a beautiful way about her, but in the same breath, something is very, very dark beneath the smile and the beautiful face. Of course, I spoke with Rory. Luna, who is a fortune teller mystic type, but she's from the mortal realm, so it's very, very, very important that she has such incredible skills and that they must be mentioned. I also spoke with Acer, who is, again, the wonderful friend who gave me this magical little box to record my feelings on, so thank you, Acer. I appreciate it, and I think I'm doing very well. Solstice, who has this need for justice that I can sense. And that's something that I'm very, very, very excited about. I do have to be careful though, because my roommate is Selenite Zahar of House Ignis. She also comes from a noble family, but they do hold the magisterium to a different regard than my family does, based on different things in our family history. Who else did I speak with? Oh, Marlene. I'd given her a flower yesterday, but then I gave her another one for her hair, and then it just kind of became a thing. Everybody that I talked to about my quest, I was able to give them a flower in order to signify their commitment to the cause. See, I knew once they spoke with the headmaster, he would give them a ring, because he gave one to me as well. I couldn't wait to ask them to join me, to see things the way that they should be seen. I was so excited to have so many people that were very interested in this. The hardest part was definitely waiting all the way until the end of the night. But I did want to go over the other classes I had today because they were so exciting. We had our history of magic. I went to sigils with my dear, dear cousin, Eliphas Erasmus, and of course I did fantastically. There's so many things. Of course, everything's about intent and your own way of envisioning things, which is something that I really love about sorcery in general, is that the more that you put into it, the more it's about you, but it's also giving out. After that, I had lyrical lit with Copernicus Solis, as well as Sir Alasso. And that class was actually way more interesting than I thought it would be. It was all about using more flowery language to produce very well-intentioned or deep spells upon people. Something like poetry or a beautiful ballad could be considered a lyrical incantation. It was absolutely beautiful. My house and I had a conversation about bees, since I had been given a bee the day before and I hadn't known as much about them as possible. They aren't as abundant, unfortunately, in my realm, but that's something that I'd love to help change. If you want, you could do something called Googling, and it's how a queen bee chooses her mate and what comes of the other males of the colony. After, I had incantation composition, which is more specific spells. I chose to enchant one of my card decks. I have an oracle card deck that is right here that I love to death because I do believe that it looks just like me on the cover. There's a beautiful unicorn, which is part of the sigil of House Solum, as well as something that's very important to my family, the Montclaire family. Now, I enchanted it that it would only tell me truths as long as I owed it. And thus far, it's been fairly helpful, I'd say. Let me know if you ever need a reading. And then I had Major Tarot with, again, my wonderful relative, the headmaster himself. And we were all given our own deck, which was very lovely to get. The card that stuck out to me the most during this time was the Star, which I just think is a very interesting card. And just the way that she was appealing to me when I saw it struck this very deep feeling. And I know that it means something with individuality. And that's something that I definitely would like to work on. It's very hard to be the younger sister of someone with a lot of power in your family, for you do tend to feel like an afterthought. Not really an afterthought, because I've never felt like an actual afterthought, but I didn't mean that. I'm so sorry. After that tarot class, we had our own special House Solum class called Taromancy, which is working with crystals and things of that nature. I play with my own crystals because I believe that no good tarot mage in training should leave anywhere without their crystals. This is amethyst and rose quartz, which are very, very helpful. Also, purple is my favorite color, so I don't not like to have something purple, but we all selected our own crystal as part of our taromancy class, and I received a aquamarine, which is good for cooling and soothing, as well as communication, which is something that I think is very, very helpful, especially since I've been acquiring so many people to join my ranks. I had such a large group of people that were committed to the cause. So many people that wanted to see equality in magic, and it was the most exhilarating thing I've ever done. People were trying to knock on the doors to get in, and they couldn't get in. So me and my dear friend Squish, who is a wonderful partial harpy from the mystic realm, who's just hilarious, we're coming up with this ruse with the headmaster, and we were yelling and shouting, and it was probably one of the most daring things I've ever done. And then we got to this point. We needed to distract those who had gone to the meeting that was more about the magisterium, so that they didn't know that we were trying to plot against them. So me, being the best student that I could possibly be, I volunteered with Squish to do pranks. I know. It was absolutely insane. And to throw them off, I had written something on my own door sign that said, well, I couldn't really finish it, so I made Rory write something about it. And she ended up writing that I was not a good actress, which I thought was just kind of mean rather than like snarky. But it's fine, because I did audition for the play today and I did wonderfully, but that's beside the point. I was following Squish's every single word. We were toilet papering many places. I wrote all of these tiny little angry messages about things. These messages that were saying very nasty things about various people and things down with the government and things like that. And I put them in a little box and I put them on professors' desks so that when they would open them, they think they were, ooh, I'm getting a nice little treat. But it's actually very mean things. Turns out they were very mean, but I tried very hard and I thought that I did a good job. Maybe I just did a little too good. It was during this time that I did go upstairs to speak with the headmaster after we would TP'd a bunch of things, and he seemed a little off. A gentleman from House Calum came in, and the accent that he had been using most of the weekend that I found absolutely enthralling kept changing, and he was so angry. And I had this distinct feeling that I wasn't supposed to be there, but I listened, and I kept my mouth shut because, honestly, knowing more around here is probably better than knowing less. The headmaster sent me away, which he's never really done before. It felt strange. People generally don't tell me I can't do things or that I need to go. During this time, we heard that there was a birth of a baby dragon, which was something that we didn't even know that there was an ability for them to be around here. And there was going to be a large party to welcome this baby dragon into the world. I was so excited. But after all of the pranking and things like that, I saw the headmaster, and he was in such a strange way of being, a way that I've never seen him like that before. He's somebody that I've known and somebody that I trust, but he seemed different. I just tried to keep my nose down because I know that it is his first year being the headmaster, and I'm assuming that things are very, very stressful. As I'm so stressed at just being a student, I can't even imagine what it's like to be a headmaster of such a prestigious school. People were whispering about various things. They had said a few things to me about asking if he seemed different, and I said no. People were asking me if he was a doppelganger, which I thought was absolutely preposterous. And I said he probably just had a very hard day. I suppose that it's probably best to just leave him to do what he needs to do and check on him in the morning. But then I had a friend, Marlene, come up to me and explain to me he's not who he says he is. He's not my relative at all. Which is something I don't believe. I think is absolutely preposterous to even say something like that, because he would tell me he's known me for such a long time. He wouldn't lie to me. So I just think that maybe she heard something wrong or felt something wrong, and he's obviously just very stressed. And I don't think I should think about this much more. There's enough whispers going around. The Selenite even asked me about if I was going to the magisterium meeting, and I had to lie, and I'm not a very good liar. I do hope things will be better in the morning. There's nothing to really be concerned about.